Well, that's why I've drafted in America's accountant to help us through this segment. Welcome to the show, Daniel Geltrude. Dan, thanks for coming on. I tell you what, I saw it happen right in front of me at the hotel I was staying at, and they had pretty much employed probably 3 to 6 of these, depending on how busy they got, to deliver food up to the restaurants, newspapers, and the like. And I thought, well, I'm witnessing really the future here. And if you go back to even, say, London, and 10 years ago, they did the same thing in McDonald's. So what's going to be happening here when we have some of these folks that think that these jobs are going to be waiting for them when they decide to get off the couch and leave mom's basement?
They're not going to be there waiting, Scott. That's for sure. The one thing I will tell you is you did see the future. The future is with artificial intelligence, and even to the point where you're going to have robots that look like us. Perhaps even better, Scott. How's that?
That's not hard.
And there's so many advantages to robots, like you talked about. You know, they don't call in sick. How about this? They never sue their employer either, and there's no need for an HR department. So you can certainly cut back on a lot of other costs as well. But let's talk about the tax implications of this, because it really runs deep here. If you don't have employees, think about all those payroll taxes that go away. Now, as we already know, the federal government and the state governments, they're not looking to give up any tax dollars. So what's going to happen? It will probably go to what Bill Gates is calling the robot tax, right? They're going to figure out a way. If you're going to start replacing humans with robots, then we're going to have to tax the robots. Talk about a disincentive for us to move forward with technology, Scott.
Yeah, and we talked about it in our production meeting this morning, and what I don't know what they're going to try to call it, but I do know this: I did have a little bit of my life when I was in college. I worked for the Boulder County Assessor's Office out in Colorado, and we had a division that actually taxed folks that actually ran businesses from their home, and it was called the Business Personal Property Tax. So if you ran a cooking show out of your house, the government would come in and tax your oven and everything that you use to produce that show. I think maybe it'll probably lean towards maybe a business property tax when it comes to the robots. But you're right, because these municipalities don't really realize about how much they're going to miss out on because you can't tax those things. And that's what Bill Gates, I think, brought it up, was because if there's not an employee there, you're not going to be able to get those revenues. And I would argue this, though. This is the thing where I think common sense kills me, is that, if you don't have a person that's going to be a drain on public funds or, public services, why should you tax that thing?
Well, it's a great point. Other than the government continues to spend, Scott, so they're going to be looking to grab tax dollars wherever they can, right? The two certainties, death and taxes, so neither are going away. Look, this is going to extend beyond what we see in hotels and restaurants and so forth. Look, there's a lot of discussion related to smart farming. I know a lot of people in the audience are focused in on this. If you look at the projections as to where world population is going, by the year 2050, we're looking at 9.7 billion people. So the question becomes, how are we going to feed all those people? We can't take a chance that we don't have enough labor to keep our agriculture going, right? We just can't, because one bad year of having not enough workers and we don't have enough food. So I think you're going to see, especially in the area of farming, we're going to see a lot of robotics hit that area and hit it hard, because we need maximum efficiency in how we produce our food.
That's a great point. And really, you're right. A lot of folks that are be watching this show right now, that's going to be something that they're thinking about, because I've been in some farm shops even within the last 18 months, and I see the gumph that say the big ones put out there about the driverless combines or the driverless this or the driverless that, and there's going to be a lot of that, even more coming, I'm sure. Now let me go back to another quick question with you. Now we do have a lot of robotics. I wouldn't say they're robots when it comes to, say, car manufacturing and those types of things in a manufacturing level on some sort of shop floor. How are the taxes handled that way with those things? Have we begun to go down that route yet of taxing that as a business personal property tax?
Scott, we have a little bit of a bad connection. I didn't catch all of the question. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I just was wondering about, have we started to tax those manufacturing, they're robotics, not robots per se, right? Those arms that are coming around doing those repetitive things. Has there been anything that's come up, because those have replaced people? Have there been anything that's come up that you've got these municipalities trying to tax those things because they've missed out on those payroll taxes?
Not that I know of, Scott, but I am fully confident that that will be just around the corner, because there's no way that you're going to be able to have people dropping out of the workforce and miss out on all those taxes. But how about this one, Scott? When people stop working, where are they going exactly? So now the robots do all the work. We tax the businesses for the robots that are doing the work, and everybody else stays home. I mean, remember, this is what Andrew Yang talked about in terms of that freedom dividend, just paying people money from the government. I think this is going to go in that direction over time, because people are not going to be able to find jobs. I
agree with you, because it's, or otherwise known as universal basic income. I think you're exactly right. We talked about that in the production meeting too, because that could be something that's running. Look, if I don't want to work for, I get $15 an hour to stay at home for free from the government. I'm turning down a job for $17 an hour. And unfortunately, today's youth think of it this way. Why would I want to take a 40-hour-a-week job for $2 an hour? Right? That's how they look at that.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? That job might not be there. You might not have the opportunity to take that job because we're going to replace it with a robot, and there goes your chance, and now you're in trouble. So that's something else to think about. I really appreciate you coming on. That was great points. Perfect guy to have for this segment. Thank you very much, Dan Geltrude.